Perhaps your last checkup ended with quiet words: high cholesterol, rising blood pressure, blood sugar creeping up. On the outside, you look fine, but inside, a slow storm is forming. Metabolic syndrome. It rarely shouts at first. It whispers with fatigue after meals, tight belts, and restless nights. Today, we will step into that storm together and discover how plants can become your umbrella and maybe even your sunshine. Nicholas J. Evans, the author of The New Plant-Based Diet for Managing Cholesterol, began with a simple, stubborn question. What if food could calm the chaos of our blood? Watching patients battle cholesterol, blood pressure, and creeping waistlines, he saw not laziness, but confusion and fear. This book is his attempt to translate complex science into a daily plate, so that every meal becomes a small vote for healing. Metabolic syndrome is not a single disease. It is a web. High blood pressure, high blood sugar, large waist circumference, high triglycerides, and low HDL cholesterol. When 3 or more strands tighten, risk of heart attack, stroke, and diabetes can double or even triple. Instead of thinking of 5 separate problems, imagine one tangled net around your cells, slowly restricting their freedom. Cholesterol is like waxy cargo floating in your blood. LDL carries it to tissues. HDL helps bring it back for recycling. Too much LDL and too little HDL allow this cargo to stick to artery walls, forming plaque. For people with metabolic syndrome, high triglycerides and insulin resistance make LDL more dangerous. Your arteries become narrow hallways, where every millimeter counts for your heart and brain. Most people are told, take this pill and be careful with food. The twist in Evans' message is different. Food itself can change LDL, HDL, and triglycerides in measurable ways. In clinical studies, plant-based patterns rich in fiber and low in saturated fat reduce LDL by 15 to 30%, sometimes more. Your fork is not just a tool for eating. It is a daily prescription you write for your future self. Still, any major change should be discussed with your physician. Imagine your metabolism as a city. Insulin is the traffic controller, moving glucose into cells. In metabolic syndrome, roads are jammed, cells stop responding, blood sugar rises, the pancreas overworks, extra energy is stored as belly fat, which then leaks inflammatory signals, worsening blood pressure and lipids. The storm is not your fault. It is often years in the making. But traffic can be redirected, slowly, steadily, by what you eat each day. When you hear plant-based, you may picture a cold lettuce leaf and hunger. Evans' vision is richer. Plant-based means centering meals on vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds, while limiting animal products and ultra-processed foods. Think of it as moving plants from the side of the plate to the starring role, without demanding perfection or sudden, extreme change. Fiber is the quiet hero of this story. Soluble fiber, found in oats, beans, apples, and flax seeds, forms a gel in your gut that traps some cholesterol and bile acids, escorting them out of the body. Over weeks, the liver must pull more cholesterol from the blood to make new bile, lowering LDL. With each spoon of beans or bowl of oats, you weave an invisible shield along your intestinal wall, one that actively protects your arteries. Not all fats behave the same. Saturated fats from fatty meats, butter, and many processed foods raise LDL, much like adding sticky glue to artery walls. Unsaturated fats from nuts, seeds, avocados, and olive oil act more like flexible building materials, supporting cell membranes without the same LDL rise. In metabolic syndrome, shifting from animal fats to plant fats can gently nudge triglycerides and HDL in a healthier direction. For many with metabolic syndrome, the most dangerous ingredients are not visible fat, but hidden sugars and refined starches. White bread, sugary drinks, pastries, and sweets cause rapid spikes in blood glucose and insulin. Excess is stored as fat and can raise triglycerides. Evans explains that a plant-based pattern works best when built on whole, intact grains and naturally sweet fruits, slow-burning logs, not paper tossed into a fire. Metabolic syndrome is often wrapped in low-grade inflammation, a silent flame irritating artery walls and interfering with insulin signals. Diets high in processed meats, refined oils, and sugary snacks pour fuel on this fire. Plant-based patterns, rich in antioxidants and phytonutrients, act like a gentle rain, cooling the burn. Colorful vegetables and fruits are not just pretty, they are tiny fire extinguishers for your cells. Evans describes a typical patient. Let us call her M. Late 40s, busy job, tired after work. Her labs: elevated LDL, high triglycerides, fasting glucose just above normal, waistline expanding. She is not careless. She is overwhelmed. When told to eat less and move more, she feels scolded, not guided. The plant-based approach offered her not blame, but a new map, drawn one simple meal at a time. Instead of demanding that M change everything overnight, Evans asked for one plant-strong meal per day. Just one. Oatmeal with berries and nuts instead of sugary cereal, or a bean and vegetable soup instead of a fast food lunch. Research shows that even small increases in fiber and reductions in saturated fat can start improving lipid profiles within weeks. One meal is not perfect, but it is powerful. Breakfast sets the tone for your metabolic day. Refined pastries and sugary drinks send blood sugar on a roller coaster. Evans suggests sturdy alternatives: steel-cut oats, chia pudding, whole grain toast with avocado, tofu scramble with vegetables. These combinations deliver fiber, plant protein, and healthy fats, keeping insulin steadier and reducing mid-morning crashes that lead to vending machine choices. Midday, many people with metabolic syndrome battle post-lunch fatigue. Heavy, high-fat animal-based meals pull blood to the gut and spike triglycerides. A plant-based lunch, such as a lentil salad, grain bowl, or hearty vegetable stew, supplies complex carbohydrates and protein without the same metabolic burden. Studies show that replacing red meat with legumes helps lower LDL and improve insulin sensitivity over time. Dinner can either calm or inflame your night. Very large, late, and heavy meals worsen reflux, disturb sleep, and keep blood sugar elevated. Evans encourages lighter, earlier dinners built on vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, seasoned well so they satisfy. Think stir-fried vegetables with tofu over brown rice or chickpea curry with greens. Such meals help your metabolism wind down instead of fighting all night. Snacks are not the enemy. They are bridges between meals, but for many with metabolic syndrome, snacks become sugar traps: cookies, chips, sweetened drinks. Evans suggests thinking of snacks as mini nutrition opportunities: a handful of nuts, carrot sticks with hummus, an apple with peanut butter. These choices stabilize blood sugar and offer healthy fats and fiber, protecting rather than sabotaging your daily progress. Imagine the grocery store as a vast pharmacy. The outer aisles, filled with fresh produce, whole grains, and legumes, are shelves of preventive medicine. The inner aisles, packed with ultra-processed options, often hide added sugars, refined oils, and excess salt. Evans encourages making a list based on plants first and reading labels like prescription inserts, aware of what each food may do inside your arteries and liver. On labels, sugar hides behind many names: sucrose, fructose, corn syrup, maltose. Saturated and trans fats lurk in baked goods and snacks. Evans suggests 3 simple checks: total fiber per serving, grams of added sugar, and type of fat. Choosing products with higher fiber, minimal added sugars, and mostly unsaturated fats gradually shifts your diet toward a metabolic-friendly pattern without counting every calorie. A common fear about plant-based eating is lack of protein. Evans explains that beans, lentils, tofu, tempeh, whole grains, nuts, and seeds together can fully cover protein needs for most people. For metabolic syndrome, plant proteins have an added advantage. They come packaged with fiber and no dietary cholesterol. If you have kidney disease or other conditions, however, always discuss protein targets with your physician first. Interestingly, plants contain no dietary cholesterol at all, yet eating more plants can lower your blood cholesterol. How? By reducing saturated fat intake, increasing fiber, and improving the way your liver handles fats. In studies, people switching to plant-strong patterns often see LDL levels fall and HDL rise modestly. Food without cholesterol becomes the very tool that rebalances it in your bloodstream. Inside your intestines lives an entire ecosystem of bacteria, your microbiome. They feed on what you eat and send signals that influence inflammation, insulin sensitivity, and even triglyceride levels. Plant-based diets, rich in diverse fibers, tend to grow species that produce beneficial short-chain fatty acids, which may protect the gut lining and support metabolic health. Each plant food is like a seed in this inner garden. Metabolic syndrome often includes rising blood pressure. Sodium from processed foods causes the body to hold more fluid, increasing pressure within arteries. Plant-based patterns naturally lean lower in sodium and higher in potassium and magnesium, which help relax vessel walls. Evans suggests gradually replacing salty snacks and processed meats with fresh, seasoned vegetables and legumes, letting herbs and spices carry the flavor. Excess fat around the abdomen is not just stored energy, it behaves like an endocrine organ, releasing hormones and inflammatory molecules that worsen insulin resistance and dyslipidemia. Plant-based diets tend to be less energy-dense, making it easier to reduce calorie intake without strict counting. Even a modest 5 to 10% reduction in body weight can significantly improve blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar markers. Many people with metabolic syndrome eat not just from hunger, but from stress, loneliness, or exhaustion. Evans honors this reality. Food is comfort, memory, culture. The goal is not to strip away pleasure, but to shift how we comfort ourselves. Preparing a warm bowl of vegetable stew or baking cinnamon apples can soothe both emotions and metabolism, whereas impulsive junk foods often comfort briefly but harm quietly. Food is tied to family traditions and cultural identity. Asking someone to eat differently can feel like asking them to become a different person. Evans suggests adapting traditional dishes rather than abandoning them, using beans instead of some meat, baking instead of frying, adding extra vegetables and whole grains. This way, you respect your roots while gently steering your metabolism toward balance. Restaurants can feel like obstacle courses for metabolic health. Large portions, hidden fats and sugars, free refills. Evans offers a simple frame, center plants, scan menus for vegetable-based sides, salads, bean dishes, and whole grains. Ask for sauces on the side, swap fries for extra vegetables, share large entrees. You are not being difficult. You are quietly renegotiating your health in the middle of daily life. Changing how you eat may invite comments. Just one bite. You only live once. Evans reminds us that you do indeed only live once, and your choices decide how fully. Developing simple phrases, I feel better when I eat this way, builds quiet confidence. Over time, as energy rises and lab results improve, your body becomes its own argument, speaking more loudly than any explanation. The scale is only one measure, and often a frustrating one. Evans encourages watching other markers: waist circumference, blood pressure, fasting glucose, LDL, HDL, and triglycerides. Improvements in these numbers, along with better sleep, more stable mood, and less afternoon fatigue, signal that your metabolism is shifting, even if weight loss is gradual. Health is more than a single digit on a screen. After 3 months of modest but consistent plant-based changes, M repeated her labs. She expected little. Instead, her LDL had dropped, triglycerides were lower, fasting glucose improved by several points. The numbers were not perfect. They were moving. She felt a delicate mix of disbelief and relief. For many patients, this first lab improvement is the turning point. From why bother to maybe this is working. As M's numbers improved, a daring question arose. Could food ever rival medication? Evans is careful. He does not promise miracles or advise stopping prescribed drugs without supervision. Yet studies do show that in some patients, intensively applied plant-based diets alongside medical care have reduced the need for certain medications. The question is not food versus medicine, but how powerfully they can work together. Always decide this with your physician. Metabolic syndrome is serious, and some people need medications for cholesterol, blood pressure, or blood sugar. Sudden, unsupervised changes in diet, especially combined with drugs like insulin or blood pressure pills, can cause side effects. Evans emphasizes partnership. Inform your physician about dietary changes, ask how often to monitor labs, and adjust medications only under professional guidance. Healing is safest when shared. While Evans' focus is food, he reminds readers that movement and diet together are more powerful than either alone. Physical activity improves insulin sensitivity, raises HDL, and helps manage blood pressure. Even a daily 30-minute walk can shift metabolic markers. Think of each walk as stirring a pot. It helps distribute the nutrients you eat, moving them into muscles instead of leaving them floating in your bloodstream. Poor sleep throws metabolic hormones off balance. Short or fragmented sleep increases ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and decreases leptin, the satiety signal. It also worsens insulin resistance. Evans encourages treating sleep like a prescription, consistent times, dark and quiet environment, avoiding heavy late meals and screens. A calm, plant-based dinner and gentle evening routine set the stage for restorative rest. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which in turn can increase blood sugar, blood pressure, and appetite for high-calorie foods. People with metabolic syndrome often live under constant deadlines and worries. Evans does not offer magic, but suggests small practices, short breaks, deep breathing, gentle movement, mindfully enjoyed meals. These quiet habits, paired with a plant-based pattern, nudge hormones away from alarm and toward balance. A common fear is that eating plant-based is expensive, yet some of the most powerful foods for metabolic syndrome are humble and affordable. Dried beans, lentils, oats, rice, frozen vegetables, seasonal fruits. Evans offers strategies like batch cooking soups and stews, buying in bulk, and choosing store-brand items. Your wallet does not have to suffer for your arteries to rejoice. At first, lower salt, lower sugar foods may taste bland, but taste buds adapt. Within a few weeks of consistent changes, natural sweetness in fruits and rich flavors in herbs and spices become more vivid. Evans encourages experimenting with seasonings, garlic, ginger, turmeric, citrus, fresh herbs. Over time, heavily processed foods may start to taste overly salty or cloying, a sign that your palate is aligning with your health. Many patients tell Evans, "I do not know how to cook." Plant-based eating can feel daunting. He suggests starting with 3 simple recipes you like and repeating them until they become automatic. Perhaps a soup, a stir-fry, and a grain bowl. Confidence grows not from gourmet attempts, but from small, reliable wins. Each dish you learn is a new tool for managing your cholesterol and calming your metabolism. No one changes perfectly. There will be nights of takeout, birthdays, travel days. Evans urges compassion. One meal does not define your journey, just as one storm does not define a climate. Instead of giving up after a slip, he suggests a simple phrase: next meal, back to plants. Metabolic health is shaped by patterns over months and years, not isolated moments of imperfection. Change is easier with allies. Evans highlights the power of support. Family members willing to try new recipes, friends joining walks, online communities sharing tips. For metabolic syndrome, isolation increases risk, while connection eases stress and encourages consistency. Asking for help is not weakness. It is a strategic move for your heart, arteries, and mind. For those whose metabolic syndrome has progressed to type 2 diabetes, plant-based eating requires extra attention to blood sugar responses. High-fiber plant meals can improve glycemic control, but medications like insulin or sulfonylureas may need adjustment to avoid hypoglycemia. Evans stresses close collaboration with healthcare providers, frequent monitoring, and gradual shifts, ensuring safety as your metabolism responds. Some people inherit very high cholesterol, familial hypercholesterolemia, or have complex lipid disorders. In such cases, diet alone is rarely enough. Medications like statins may be essential. Evans clarifies that a plant-based pattern still offers benefits. It can complement therapy, reduce other risk factors, and improve overall vascular health. But decisions about medication must always remain in your physician's hands. Metabolic syndrome can affect the kidneys and liver, leading to fatty liver disease or chronic kidney disease. In these conditions, certain nutrients must be balanced carefully, like protein, potassium, or phosphorus. Evans urges those with organ complications to seek individualized guidance from physicians and dietitians. A plant-based approach can still be tailored, but it must respect the unique limits of your organs. Plant-based patterns require attention to certain micronutrients. Vitamin B12, vital for nerves and blood, is not reliably supplied by plants and usually needs fortified foods or supplements. Iron and zinc are present in legumes and whole grains, but may be less easily absorbed. Pairing them with vitamin C-rich foods helps. Omega-3 fats from flax, chia, walnuts, and algae-based supplements support heart health. Your doctor can help decide if supplements are needed. Evans paints 2 timelines. Before, rushing out with a pastry, sitting all day, fast food lunch, late heavy dinner, restless sleep. After, simple oatmeal breakfast, short walk break, bean salad lunch, vegetable-rich dinner, screen-free wind down. Cholesterol numbers do not change in a day, but this repeated rhythm reshapes hormones, lipids, and blood pressure, like water reshaping stone. Many with metabolic syndrome dread lab days, fearing bad news. Evans invites a new emotion, curiosity. Instead of viewing numbers as a judgment, see them as feedback from your body. Did the last 3 months of plant-forward eating budge LDL? Did triglycerides or waist size shift? Curiosity replaces shame with learning, turning checkups into checkpoints along a path you control more than you once believed. 1 year into her journey, M's life did not look like a diet commercial. She still worked the same job, still had stressful days, but her breakfasts were different, her lunches more deliberate, her dinners lighter. Labs showed improved lipids and glucose, blood pressure calmer. Most importantly, she felt a new sense of agency. Food was no longer an enemy or a guilty pleasure. It had become an ally, a language of care toward herself. Evans proposes a gentle challenge. For 7 days, choose 1 meal each day to be plant-strong, built around vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. Keep a simple journal of how you feel: energy, digestion, mood, cravings. At the end, reflect on whether anything shifted, even slightly. This is not a test you can fail. It is an experiment in listening to your body's response to a different fuel. Imagine yourself 5 years from now looking back at today. Metabolic syndrome could have progressed: more medications, more fatigue, more fear, or it could have softened: improved labs, lighter step, stronger heart. Evan's message is that the fork in that road lies quite literally in your fork and spoon. Each plant-strong choice is a letter you write to your future self saying, "I did not give up on you." Metabolic syndrome is not a sentence. It is a warning and also an invitation. The new plant-based diet for managing cholesterol offers a hopeful map: more plants, more fiber, fewer refined fats and sugars, steady support from your medical team. If you are considering change, please consult your physician before altering your diet or medications. If this journey resonates with you, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share it with someone facing similar struggles. Start with 1 meal, 1 day, and let your body feel the difference.